Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going the King's way. So it's fun to take songs that are like good, but they could be better. Put them in the King's, and it all works. We had some fun in the chat room. And the host is all messed up, and I was trying to wake the people up, and I'm like, you ever heard of that song, Dreamer? Nothing but a dreamer? That's who you're listening to. Sometimes just a little verse of a song that's a classic and really good things like Purple Rain. When people get red pill, blue pilled, I'm like, you guys need to get out of the pill zone and look at the purple rain because it's coming. And that means it's king time. So, in that looking for opportunities thing, let's be fruitful. Let's be harvesting, because the land is ripe for the harvest, but the harvesting has been done wrongly for too long, and we need to get back to the basics. You have to remember that Jesus said to the Pharisees, if we just followed the law and the prophets, like pretty much the whole Bible before Jesus came, the basic thing was just love God right and your neighbor as yourself, and that's the two greatest commandments. If you follow that, that's huge. And that's what we're trying to do. So get out of your little whatever. Eternal security is not true. Sorry. I've seen too many people lose their security that are still preaching now, and I'm ready to email them and say, buddy, you might want to tell your congregation that you're not even going to make it. You might be already out of the picture, so I wouldn't keep preaching. So you're only making your doom a little more ugly, especially when these people are falling. You find out that you were exposed to the false teacher a long time ago, and you knew it, and you kept going because you thought you were still saved by grace. You know what I mean? Some of this stuff just gets in people's heads, and it ruins them. So, part of the key of being that remnant is not figuring out if your bloodline fits in your tribe. Is you can research it, you're from Africa. It doesn't really matter. If your heart's there, you're part of the sand of the sea, so don't worry about it. But when we've got all these people that have been exposed as blasphemers, the reason is because they're not preaching about the king. And the king is coming, so that means that they're not with the Bible at all. Because Philippians 2 says that in that day, whatever day that is, which is this day we're talking about, when the king comes, he's going to come to the earth, and every single person, everyone will bow down to this king. Now, if you don't see the need for that right now, you need to wake up. Because the phones and everything, it's just not working. And right now, in certain parts of China where the AI is really working, supposedly, you can go in the street, any street downtown, Beijing or whatever, and just go, Uber? And boom, it's like a prayer. There's an Uber at your side within seconds. So if you think about that, that's like the ultimate AI, that you actually can pray to AI and it will answer your prayer. Okay? But the one thing that AI can never get, maybe with the neural links they're trying to, but this stuff is funny to me, really. It's just funny. Like, really? You think you're going to, get neural links so you can think Uber and it'll come? Like, okay, good luck with that. Talk about glitch time. So, we've already got that. See? That's the thing. So, if we've got great faith and we're coming to a harvest, we're not trying to get into, we believe in internal security. No, we're not trying to do any of that. We're trying to show love, and love for each other, and love for the king. So if we're living like that, then the fruit of us is going to so much more better than anything else. Because here's the thing. If we're looking for a king that we know that's going to come and that every knee will bow on earth, and he's going to make it better all over the earth, from India to China to you name it. So it's not worth getting, the Russians, they're all messed up. And believe me, I've got my own countries that I'm not a real big fan of. But that's because of their princely reign. okay? Because they're all under princely reign. All of them. Okay? We don't have any kings right now, and that's why we need the king. And it's more needed than ever before, because even the Chinese people have home churches where they're totally defying their whatever you want to call him, but he's a prince. But he's reigning as a king. And the only king that's going to take away that reign is the king that every knee will bow to. So, just so it's easy when you're trying to, harvest people and say, come on into the fold. Because the thing is that there's only 144,000 listed in Revelation 7. And we don't know between there and Revelation 20 how many more join up. But we need to be the kind of light that makes people really want to come in. And so you want to get out of all the doctrines you've been taught and remember the Catholic Church. And they're saying it on the radio more than ever that we need to be a church without walls getting ready to worship the King. And it's going to happen all over the earth. And the Buddhists are already praying for the Karma King to come. The Hindus are in the similar thing, that they believe there's the eve of destruction and the CERN and all that. But they also believe that like CERN and all that's going to go down in the destruction. And then the king will come and they will worship the Karma King. So we're all definitely on a really similar page. And when you got the Muslims praying to Allah, but they say that Allah is the son of God, also the son of the mother of God, who's going to be king and all will worship, then they're after the same king. So when you see all that and you know that that's that king, it'll make it easier for you to trust him to come and to make him king in you. So that when you go wherever, just by wearing less clothes or whatever it is, because see, when everybody's all worried about this, but you're not even covering this or your feet at all. I mean, I'm like full-on hippie in the 70s, like in the store barefoot all the time. Because I want people to stare at my feet and my shirtlessness more than this, because that will get them off of that page. Because otherwise they're just like, oh, you got to wear it. Okay, then I can talk about this. But if you're already without a shirt, you're only in the store with shorts, and they're like, wait a minute. Are we still enforcing a no shirt, no shoes policy? Because that kind of went by the wayside when we're so worried about this. But then when you defy them all and like, I'm not even trying to go there. I'm just trying to get ready for a king. And they're like, now that's pretty wild, And then if you can leave some cash and change and say, hey man, I'm only taking gold for the king now. So you can take that because it doesn't mean that much to me because I'm getting ready for the gold standard because my king's coming. And then all of a sudden that mass thing to them is like, they can actually, without saying it, they can kind of say to you like, I never really liked this stuff anyway. You know what I mean? Because they're all under orders to do it too. So if you're like not just defying this, but you're defying all of it, like, screw it, I'm not going to wear anything because I'm working for the king. I mean, I don't want to like get in trouble with my package out, so I'll put a pair of shorts on. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like a whole different world. And when people see that, they got to know what's going on here. Especially if they see you're not all drunk and walking around and things. You got your wits about you, but you're not on wits with this. And you're like, I'm good. I'm working for a king, and he's got gold coming, so keep the change. So good. And that's when it's like, ooh, that gets like infectious. And people are like, well, I got to know more. And you just say, well, the greatest reset is love God, right? And your neighbor as yourself. Whoa, I've never heard it like that. But then you say, well, that's what Jesus said, is the whole law and the prophets wrapped up in one. So why wouldn't it be a bad thing? And if he really does want to come make Eden 2.0, then hey, what's the problem with the king, So it's all about perspective and where your heart is at. And so just live like you mean it and don't fall for that. Whatever it is, the hardest part for me is walking through rocky areas where I'm like, Lord, I want my slippers. And so I don't know how that'll work because I just, to me, it's just most important just to not even trust the slippers, because I want to be totally with the king and to show him, hey, if going barefoot reaches more for the king, I'll do it, and I'll take a few rocks to the feet, because, it toughens them up anyway. I remember when I was a kid, I'd see women in the Philippines that work in rice paddies. They walk on those rice paddies in their bare feet every day and carry stuff on their head and wild stuff. And I'll tell you what, some of those women had feet that were like tough as bricks, and they could walk on anything. So, you know what I mean? It's just like what you're used to. And so if we're used to like being like hippies again and bringing back love for like, whoa, dude, you want to take your shirt off all the time? Yeah, actually I do. I just love it. It feels so free. And then people are like, I'm worried about a mask. It's not that cold out. Why am I bundled up? And if you just think about it, if he comes and he doesn't have anything on, and he's the king, and he died for us like that, then I don't think he'd be really bummed out if I'm walking around in shorts like, okay, king, whenever you're ready. Because he's like, good, you're thinking like me. Because you're not all wrapped up in whatever this, or that, or that. No, you're just like, hey, I'm almost naked and ready for my king. And the money, doesn't mean that much. Because, hey, when I go to the store, you just keep the rest because I'm working for gold for the king. And then, like, I'm having fun at dispensaries now. Because I go to the dispensary and I'm like, hey, how's it going, guys? Are you guys selling this place? And they're like, what are you talking about? Organic buds are coming in now, and there's so many GMOs in there, and I just wondered if I bought the place today, is it worth $2 million with all the buds, or because I'm not going to sell them? So is it cheaper if you take them away and then I just come in with new buds? Because when I come in, everything's changing. It's going to go all organic, and it's working for the king. So there's not going to be government involvement. There's not going to be all of this stuff. It's actually going to be strippers trying to show as much as possible as they sell these organic buds. So the business will be double what you've got right now. And all the stuff that's in that store will probably be like taken out because I'm bringing in organic buds that are from Oregon. It'll blow away any of this California shit that's made with mercury and all these GMO stupid stuff. That's not how we're supposed to be smoking buds anyway. And when you say that to them, they're just like, but city does not compute. They won't even answer any emails. And I'm like, well, I just want to wonder, because I could get real estate people start working on it right now, and we get dispensaries open real quick that are like, wow. Because when you've got stuff like that and people are like, wait a minute, because your faith is so great in your king that you know that you got gold coming, and the price of a store is nothing to you. It's like, well, as soon as he comes, I'll have tons of gold. So, how much do you want? Because, yeah, maybe I'll get a loan, but it's going to be paid off when he comes, so it's all good. And the business is going to be great because it's all organics, and I'm not going to enforce any of this crap because I'm not trying to worry about getting the bug. Never did in my life, and I never will. And the other thing about the bug is, oh, I caught the beer bug. No. Well, the thing about it is, when the king comes, he's going to give our bodies a total redo, just like the whole rapture idea. But rapture means caught up into the kingdom, like when he comes. When he comes, we're going to meet him as he comes in the air, and he's going to switch us into the new ones that, like he is, the better bodies and all that. So even if you got the beer, oh no, I've got it, and it's going to keep coming back, and it's like, once you catch it, it stays in your lungs. Well, it doesn't matter anyway, because when the king comes, you're getting the reset for your body. So you're getting all new anyway, just like the people that rose from the dead. So it's nothing to worry about. So that's why it cracks me up when they keep with these new fear-mongering things. There's 1,000 different strains of the CV virus. Well, it doesn't really matter if I've got 1,000 different strains already in me, because when he comes, even my cigarette damage is going to be totally redone. So whatever. Go on, stress out, because I'm not double masking or any of that shit. I'm going full on as close free as I can get, and I'm going to make my dispensaries the same way. And there's going to be so much love in those places. for the cashiers, for the buds, for all the people in there, because it's going to be a place of love. And since this is based on the golden rule, love others as you love yourself, then I'm not going to have all these problems about security, enforcement, and all this stupid shit. It'll just be based on love and gold and naked truth. So what's the problem? Because, when you got security, you got to have all these metal detectors and everything. But if people can't come with that many clothes on, because let's say in the dispensary, you said, oh, by the way, if you have no clothes on, you get 20% off. And if you're in a swimsuit, well, then 10% off. But do you really think people are going to bundle up? Oh, yeah, and by the way, if you wear a coat, you got to pay a 10% fee. You see what I mean? It would be really easy to do security. You don't have to look for guns or anything. Because, oh, dude, you're bundling up? Oh, you're paying a fee. You might have to go through security because you're all untrustable now. Because we're trying to get back to like Adam and Eve business, like where you just come naked and get what you get and you walk out with it in your hand. And that's the only thing that fits in your hand, like the gold that was in your hand when you came. So, maybe when he comes, we'll have little satchel bags that we can carry around with our gold because we don't have pockets anymore. So, and that's the other thing, is that if we do go to this new economy, there's got to be love one another like you love yourself, because there's not going to be pockets and there's not going to be a lot of places to store your gold. So you kind of need to leave it out over here and over here. But if we're all truth and love and gold and naked, then we're going to be like, hey, bro, don't forget your gold. Because especially when we just went through all this shit right now, where all this fake money is tied up with the government and the fake business with Walmart and China and this political shit. But if we had like gold and it wasn't bound to any of that, and it wasn't turned to water, and we knew it was going to last like forever, like the value of it is solid, then we're going to love each other with that and not be trying to steal from each other, because we know that this kingdom is karma, like the best part. And once you get rewarded for your golden rule karma, you no longer want to take chances on it because it got you this 1,000 years. So you're like, hey, bro, that's your gold. I'm not touching it. Just want to make sure before you leave, grab your gold. You know what I mean? And that has to be like in our head, because it's our faith. And according to your faith, may it be given unto you. So that everyday practice has to be based on that king that you're looking up to when you're coming. And by that faith, you're going to do certain things that are going to be way different from those who are serving the princes. And just from going without this and with no shirt into the store and just going straight to what you want, grabbing it and getting out and leaving a tip, people are going, what the heck is that? And that's where it just gets easier from dispensaries on. And all your businesses, if you're doing a business now, it should be easier than anything, because like a pizza business, I saw that there was talking on the ad, there's some pizza place offering 3-for-1 pizzas. You order 3 pizzas and you only have to pay for 1. And that's really smart, because that's what I'm thinking about, something like that. Because think about it, if you could open a pizza place, right, and it's all organic, okay, so there's not any way for people to get sick. If you want to put reishi mushrooms on, that's even more virus-free. So then you could put that on your ad. But what I'm saying is, if you made organic pizza that's already healthier than any pizza that's legally sold, then the health department can't give you crap, because they're already dirty with their stupid, all this crap. And you can just say, hey, you know what? I'm working for a king. And this economy is already trash, so I need to sell some pizza. So you want to do your health department thing, do it with somebody else, but I'm not part of that game, because I don't do poison pizza. And you're all wrapped up with Pizza Hut and all them and saying you're grade A, giving them poison pizza. So don't tell me shit about what I'm doing or how I can't do it, because I'm doing double what they are and you're saying they're legal. So until you can come back to me and prove to me that selling organic would be less healthy than that Pizza Hut because I haven't got your approval, then I ain't going to listen to you, because you're already dirty. Like, as far as government goes, you're all dirty. I'm ready for the new king who makes a government that's true. And I can't trust in your one. So if you want to sue me, whatever, but you can't close me down because I'm a free man. And that's it. And when you say stuff like that and you do stuff like that, think about it. You make pizza. Pizza is so cheap to make. Organic flour, you can take that and put some butter with it and make a really good crust. And that'll cost you maybe $1 or $2 per pizza at most. And to make it, it's only going to take you a few minutes. You put some cheese and nice sauce on the top and whatever meat or whatever. Maybe a couple of mushrooms and some reishi, whatever. You've got a major, beautiful pizza that's twice as tasty or healthy as any Pizza Hut or any of these. And then you go and you give out samples. You make a few and you just go give out and where you're trying to sell it at. If it's your house, doesn't matter. If it's already been, whatever. See, you can sell out of a tent. You got an oven, bake the pizzas, and go out and start slicing it up and say, hey, man, this is my organic pizza. I'm going to be selling it. And you figure out, and you could even say, it's based on the golden rule. So I'm looking for, this is a king business. So if you want to pay me, you pay whatever you want. Because I know this cash is not worthless and I'm working for gold. So as long as you're happy and you like what you eat, then just keep coming back and I'll try to give you the same kind of deal as much as I can do until the gold comes, and then we'll make it all good. Because right now the money's all fake anyway. So I'm not trying to get rich on it. I'm just trying to work for the king and establish a business. Because if it's based on trust and love and you're not even worried about cash, then even the health department can't get mad because you have no menu and saying you have to give me this. You just tell them, hey, you like this pizza? Here's a piece. And you give it to them. They're like, oh, yeah, it's good. Well, I'm selling them. I don't know if you want to pay like $3 each, whatever. Because it's not real. The cash is not good anyway. I'm working for the king. And when the gold comes, then we'll make real prices. Now think about that. And I'm like, wait a minute. I can make, so it's 2 pizzas for one. Whatever you want. If you think that's good, okay, that's fine. Just I need to make some money to get buy some more ingredients to make the next one. But you're showing love in pizza and not like, I got to make cash. No, because the cash is worthless anyway. But if you have the love to make the pizza organic, that's twice as good as anything out there. And you're giving it away for free and saying, well, if you want to come next time, pay $1 or whatever. As soon as the gold comes in, then we'll make real prices. And think about that. You would just blow businesses away like nothing. Just like dispensaries. If you go to a dispensary, I've already went to La Jolla where I actually want to buy that dispensary. And I've told them, hey, man, what would it cost to buy you? Like $5 million? What is it? And they're just like, does not compute. Like, because they don't have that happen, And I'm like, well, I got gold coming, so whatever. I am ready to buy it. And that's the dispensary I want because that's one I've been going to. And that's what I know is the best neighborhood in San Diego as far as money goes. And you guys have been GMO'd it for a long time. And so now that the GMOs are out, I'm ready to organic. And I'm ready to make that place like it's never been before. And it's like, if you don't want to sell it to me, then I'll just go down the street by the beach in La Jolla and find a better spot. Because I know the realtor that lives in La Jolla that runs Willis Allen, which is one of the biggest realties around there. And he can find me a nice beachside spot. And the rents are low anyway. So I'll just find a place and buy a place over there. And then I'll open my stripper place. And La Jolla will buy all my buds there. And you will be like a memory. Because you're not only in the alley in Sorrento Valley, which is not even La Jolla. You're just on the edge of the town, So, because you don't want to pay for La Jolla real estate. I didn't say all that, but I know it already. So the fact that they're all like, what are you talking about? Then I can just go down the street and say, hey, man, how much for that place? And then tell them, oh, by the way, you got competition now, so screw it. I don't want your place. So we're just in a win-win because we got gold on the way. And especially, look, this is another thing that cracks me up. People are like, oh, that's radical. You can't say smoking buds is good. Really? Okay, wine is good and buds is the same thing. Sorry. If you do it to excess, it's wrong. But if you don't, it's all good. Because Jesus made water into wine and he made buds too. So I don't think he screwed up when he made buds and he made wine right. So he said that's just wrong. And you could say about heroin and all that. I'm not even getting into that. That's different completely. I'm just looking at pot, okay? Pot is not like a full-on addictive drug. I don't care what you say. I know, because I grew up with it in Oregon. Those buds are like really good. But you don't get fully addicted to buds, but you can love them too much. But you can love wine too much and become an alcoholic too. But that doesn't make wine bad. Same like cigarettes, the same thing. If you're a chain smoker, that's not good. But if you can smoke organic cigarettes and enjoy a half of one at a time, even if you smoke half a pack a day because you love making these videos, it's all good. So where is your fruit and where is your heart? Because starting a business right now, it's getting to be really easy to start. Because the more things go bad, the more things they're good for us. Because we want to give it away first anyway. We shouldn't be worried about money because it's all fake. And if we know gold's coming, whatever, just give your organic best. And from food to drinks, I mean, if you want to have a coffee shop, that's the other thing. Starbucks is mostly poisoned coffee. So if you like Starbucks, I understand. It's like a trend or whatever. But I mean, their coffee bugs my stomach to no end, partly because they burn the beans, but another one is they're not organic. But yet, did you know, Mr. Starbucks fan, that Starbucks sells organic coffee in Costco in bulk, but yet they won't serve it in their coffee shops? So why are they trying to poison you if you're spending so much money at $3 a cup? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I buy even this when I'm broke, and this is what, $3 or $3.79? But this is from Italy, and it's espresso, and you can put this in cold water, literally, just a little bit, and I'll tell you what, it's espresso. And you make it strong, and like your stomach is like a little nauseous because it's gnarly bitter, and ooh, it'll hit you. But see, this is the kind of thing that's not poison coffee, and coffee is like one of the most poisoned foods we eat. So if you open an organic coffee shop and just start serving coffee, and I was like, hey man, if you want to give me $1, I'm not trying to make that much anyway. I'm working for the king. When he comes in, we'll fix it all in gold. People are like, what? Then you have some cookies too. It'd be like, hey man, I want a couple cookies too. If you give me $1 and I can make them again tomorrow, it's all good. It would totally like change business. And you have all these businesses that are like all golden rule based on gold that's coming. And everybody that's broke doesn't have to worry because you're broke too. So you're like, hey man, I made this. If you can give me $1, great. If you can't, it's all good. Don't worry about it. You know, whenever. And then people be like, what? You know, because that's not how business has been done. Like ever. And that's because you're basing it on the king and on the golden rule. Because you know he's going to make it right. And he knows that he's going to bless you if you're giving it away. Because you're fighting the fight against the bad and making it all good. And that's part of the harvest. Because if we're sowing good seed in us, from organics, buds, to as naked as possible stuff, that we're showing, hey, this is what's coming with the king. We're coming to Eden 2.0, so let's start doing it now. Because if we don't have faith and we start bundling up and doing all this, then what good is it? It's just an act. And we've had too much actors doing too many bad things. So it's time to not be act. It's time to be all in with the king. I love you. So keep it up.